the final season of baseball at historic Yankee Stadium, which opened 85 years ago. And tonight it's all New York. Interleague play. The New York Mets of the National League East. The New York Yankees of the American League East here in the Bronx.
17 to play. After an excruciating 1-0 loss to the lowly Nationals Thursday afternoon, Billy Wagner criticized teammates for ducking the media, which forced Willie to call a clubhouse meeting Friday night, which he thinks went a long way to clearing the air. Owner Fred Wilpon and general manager Omar Minaya have publicly supported their manager, but there's an increasing criticism that Randolph may be too quiet, too dignified, too sensitive to the shrapnel around him, and that the team's perceived lack of energy may be a reflection of the manager. It doesn't help the energy level that Jose Reyes has a meager .317 on-base percentage since last July, which is lower than that of Julio Lugo. While management knows there's no clear choice to succeed Randolph, the fact remains that the Mets are 75-75 since the end of last May. And this year's team has performed eerily similarly to the September Mets. The fans won't let them forget. John?
And I don't think the big crowd here at the Bronx is going to be accused of being too quiet or too dignified here tonight. I think it's going to be a loud, raucous night in the Bronx. The Mets won yesterday. Jose Reyes is about to bat against Chien-Ming Wang, the dynamic Mets leadoff man and one of the great National League shortstops. And Derek Jeter will be hitting third tonight for the Yankees, the great American League shortstop. It's all New York. Yankees-Mets first pitch coming up.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets, step right up and greet the Mets.
There's Willie Randolph, the manager of the New York Mets, who are trying to make it 2 in a row over the Yankees here in the Bronx. The Mets batting order now presented by Taco Bell. Jose Reyes had a home run yesterday. Shortstop Marlon Anderson in left field. David Wright, third base. He also launched a big fly yesterday. Carlos Beltran, center field. Brian Church in right field, having an excellent year. Moises Alou just recently back in the lineup from the DL, the DH. Carlos Delgado, first base. Brian Schneider, the catcher. And Luis Castillo, the veteran second baseman, bats ninth, all up against the 25-year-old Chien-Ming Wang, a 19-game winner last year, a 19-game winner the year before, and 6-1 so far this year.
And John, he has pitched into the 6th inning or later in 8 of his 9 starts.
Reyes, strike one as he showed bunt there.
Well, let's take a look at the scouting report. He's got one of the best sinkers in the game, he and Brandon Webb, and he's been throwing more changeups, more sliders, more changeups to the left-handed hitters, and that's been real successful for him so far this season.
Just off the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jose Reyes. Now Reyes, he's a man who makes it all happen for the Mets, but he's hitting only .263 with a .330 on base average. 3 homers, 15 batted in. And that's going to be out of play off to the left. When you think of him, Joe, you think of a guy who steals a lot of bases. By this time of year, you'd expect him to already be over 20 steals, and he'd have a lot of triples and be hitting over 300. But he finished poorly last year and got off to a very slow start this year.
Well, you can't steal first base. You have to get on base a lot to give yourself those opportunities.
Right back to Wong.
Now let's take a look at the Yankees defensively, and the one that's always there is Derek Jeter. He's won 3 Gold Gloves, and he just plays a magnificent shortstop. And we'll keep a close watch on he and Jose Reyes tonight.
Now Marlon Anderson.
Shortstops in the league.
Yeah, well, you got the Jeter in the American League and Reyes in the National League. Here's Marlon Anderson and a pop-up. Coming over from third base and not catching it is Gonzalez, but the ball was a foul ball. He went ahead through to first base. And Jose Molina, the catcher, I don't think ever saw that ball.
Well, the lights have not taken completely, yet. It's still kind of dusk out here. It's not dark. And you see the sky is still light.
Watch Molina. He looks up. He doesn't know where it is.
And Molina looks He's trying to find it.
Yeah,
he had his
help
glove
me.
hand as he didn't see it.
Somebody help me.
Well, Gonzalez saw it all the way. He just could not make the catch. He may have lost it for a split second there at the end. But he was smart enough to try to throw to first base because Anderson didn't run.
There's that changeup to a lefty you're talking about, Joe, and he just barely got a piece of it.
That has made a big difference. Before, you could look for a hard sinker and a hard slider. And those two speeds, there wasn't much difference in between the two. But when you can add a third pitch like a changeup, it makes a big difference to a guy like Wong. And also, he will throw the high fastball occasionally now, which changes the hitter's eyesight.
And there's the high fastball, but dribbled foul, and Anderson hangs in there.
As a hitter, you would always go up there looking for something down, the sinker down and the slider down. Well, he's changed that now because he will throw the high fastball, and it just really changes the hitter's eye level a lot more than he did in the past. As I said before, he's a great story because you've seen him just get better and better over the last 2 years.
2 strikes to count to Marlon Anderson. And the slider low and inside. 1-2. Well, in the postseason against Cleveland last year, he got shelled twice. Took 2 of the 3 losses for the Yankees as they got eliminated in the first round, 3-1 by the Cleveland Indians. But Chien-Ming Wong, the game 1 starter, the game 4 starter, and he just got clobbered in both of them. Well, right back to Wong again.
He's got that comebacker going for him. And, John, remember last year was a very unusual postseason. You had C.C. Sabathia, the Cy Young Award winner, and Fausto Carmona. They both could not beat the Boston Red Sox. You'd never think the Red Sox would be able to beat those guys twice. And the same thing with Wong. You would never think that Cleveland would be able to handle him as easily as they did. So both of those teams' aces did not pitch well in the postseason.
But that and the fact the Yankees kind of used that against Wong in an arbitration hearing, and then they beat him in arbitration, and he tried to channel it in a positive way and said, well, maybe I need to be better. Here's David Wright, and a foul off to the first base side into the upper deck, and he checks that bat. Did not sound good coming off the bat. It's 0-1. David Wright, his average has been falling here lately down to 279. But he's got 8 homers, 34 batted in to lead the Mets in both categories. And David Wright hit a big home run in the 8th inning yesterday. 2 down, nobody on. That one made it through to Jeter, and Jeter handles it no problem.
That made it a very difficult play for Jeter.
But he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good out there. Jeter will be coming up third after Damon and Abreu when we return.
Here come the Yankees. Let's get behind and cheer the Yankees.
Here come the Yankees. You hear the Yankees theme song that they've had for many, many years. Joe Girardi's Yankee batting order presented by Taco Bell. Johnny Damon left field. Bobby Abreu is in right field. Derek Jeter at shortstop, and he always seems to kill the Mets. Hideki Matsui is the cleanup man, the DH. Jason Giambi, home run yesterday, first base. Robinson Cano, his average starting to climb upward now, second base. Melky Cabrera, center field. Alberto Gonzalez at third base in place of Alex Rodriguez, and Jose Molina, the catcher, in place of Jorge Posada. And Oliver Perez on the mound for the New York Mets, a left-hander. And he can be awfully tough, Joe, but he also is sort of an enigma as far as the Mets are concerned, because sometimes he's unhittable, and other times he can't get anybody out.
But his consistency has been a big factor in the Mets not being able to get way over 500 where they need to be. But he definitely, on any given night, he can shut down the opposition.
And he did that a couple of times to the Yankees last year. He beat him twice. Johnny Damon, and it's strike 1.
And the reason he can shut him down, John, is because he has a first-rate big league fastball, and he has a very good slider, a hard slider. And the only problem he ever has seems like sometimes he'll lose focus on the mound sometimes, and that gets him in trouble.
He'll be facing a lot of lefties tonight, as teams always seem to line themselves up with whatever left-handers they've got. don't miss the Yankees. So the Yankees have 5 left-handers in their order tonight. 5 of the first 6 hitters are left-handed against a left-handed pitcher.
Well, that was with Johan Santana. They had a lot of lefties too. So
Same lineup.
So it doesn't really matter.
That's their lineup. Except they're missing 2 big parts. That slider into left field. That's the big field here. And Marlon Anderson, nothing but room to make that catch 1 away.
Well, we saw one of the great plays yesterday at home plate with Brian Snyder, who was brought over from Washington. Watch this block of the plate. He puts his front foot right there on the corner where Damon is sliding for the corner. He puts his left foot there, see, and he never touches the plate. And he's an easy tag out after that. That's a great play. A lot of times you'll see a catcher put his foot there, but the momentum of the slide will knock it away, and he'll be able to touch the plate. But Snyder did a great job of planting his left foot.
Schneider played that game yesterday, and a lot of people thought maybe Ramon Castro would start, a right-handed hitter, against Andy Pettitte, but Willie Randolph said, no, I want Schneider in there. Schneider made that play at the plate, and he also got a huge bases-loaded walk to force in a run with an excellent at-bat. Here is Abreu, and the fastball is in there for a called strike. The Mets had their big team meeting on Friday, much reported here in the New York area, after Billy Wagner's comments about guys not being at lockers and how come you're talking to me. And they were filled with reports of clearing the air, and a lot of good things were discussed. But the main thing, as always here in New York, Joe, is go out and win. You got to win. The meeting was good, but what was even better was they won yesterday, the first game of the series, back of Santana. The Mets at the moment are in a lot better shape than are the Yankees. As Abreu takes way inside, ball 3.
But we also have a similar situation we talked about in Chicago with the White Sox and the Cubs. I mean, the Yankees are the Cubs, so to speak, and the White Sox are the Mets. There's Billy Wagner. I understood exactly what Billy Wagner was saying, John. He did not pitch in the game, yet they were all in front of his locker asking him to tell him what happened.
And there is Perez to tag out Abreu, so he got to a 3-1 count. But Abreu merely dribbled one, handled by Perez, so 2 down.
Well, one of the words that was used was accountability. I don't think that's exactly what I would say. I would say that they should be there, answer the questions, and move on. Accountability is when you're on the field, you do your job, play the game. That's just an added part of the game that you have to go through. But you want to be accountable to your teammates on the field first, and then in the locker room.
So Willie Randolph under fire here in New York. And the Mets will head out on the road. I mean, this is a road game tonight, but they'll head out on the road for real. Not just a little bus trip from Shea Stadium over to here, but right after this ball game, they got a day-night doubleheader in Atlanta against a team that has given them a lot of trouble over the years. 1 ball and no strikes to the Yankee captain, Derek Jeter, hitting .314. But against the Mets, he is an all-timer. Fouled into the upper deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeter hitting .386 lifetime against the New York Mets.
Well, David Wright was started today hitting .343 against the Yankees, so the 2 stars are doing it against the others. And if you're a guy like Jeter, that tells you why he has so much success in the postseason. This series is like the postseason, you know, for Yankee fans and Yankee players and Mets fans and players. So that's why he's so successful in the postseason. He can raise it a notch.
Just off the inside. 2-1. Jeter has hit safely in each of his last 16 games against the Mets over 3 years period at a .457 batting average. And lifetime .386, and that's in 251 at-bats against Mets pitching. The high fastball, check swing, and the count is 3-1. Jeter in the 3rd spot with Alex Rodriguez out. By the way, Alex Rodriguez played in a game in the extended spring yesterday and hit a home run, and then played in a simulated game today. Had 15 at-bats.
That's an all-day job.
And that's ball 4 to Jeter. And the walk has been a real problem for Oliver Perez. That's the 28th walk he's issued in only 41 2/3 innings. That's 6 walks per 9 innings.
Well, John, I always feel like if you're trying to judge how much walks hurt you, I think you have to look at the leadoff walks. I think leadoff walks are really killers for pitchers. And this 2-out walk, I mean, it's never good to walk a hitter, but a 2-out walk doesn't always put you in a jam. But if you walk the leadoff hitter, you're immediately in trouble.
Hideki Matsui, he's been struggling lately.
So some walks are better than others.
Well, he gets to the left-handed hitter.
Right.
And he's real tough on the lefties. He throws a strike on the outside to Matsui. He also has only 3 hits in his last 25 at-bats.
And he was the most consistent hitter, from day one with the Yankees, but he has struggled lately. And he was saying that the DH role was really helping him because he was taking pressure off of his knees.
The slider in the dirt, knocked down by Schneider. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're talking about Willie Randolph being under fire. Here's Joe Girardi, his first year as the Yankee manager. They're in last place.
Yeah.
But they're only 5.5 games out, and a lot of things have not gone well for the Yankees. It really doesn't have that much to do with the manager, so there's not anything being said about Girardi's job being in jeopardy.
Well, I would question that, John. If it's Willie's fault on the other side of town, why is it not Girardi's fault on this side of town? I think you have to look at both of them in the same, way. I mean, the Mets are 1.5 games out of first place. The Yankees are in last place. So I would say that you have to look at both of them and use the same microscope. But you're always under a microscope in New York anyway. I mean, that goes with the territory.
1-2 the count. There goes Jeter. And the breaking ball way inside. Jeter steals it uncontested.
Well, the thing that Jeter did there is he lulled him to sleep. And Oliver Perez was lulled to sleep by Jeter not breaking or making any movement at first base. He takes off on the first movement. He doesn't read him. He just takes off the first move that Perez made. Jeter took off. And you can steal a lot of bases that way. See, the first movement, he doesn't wait to read it to see if he's coming to first base. He's gone right away.
Now Matsui could not get a run with a base hit. Very defensive, fighting it off, fouling it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, one thing about Joe Girardi, Alex Rodriguez has missed as many games this year as in the last 7 years combined. He's their man. He's the big guy. The big guy. He's gone. Jorge Posada had a fabulous year last year offensively, and the guy who handles that pitching staff, he's not been able to catch except for a handful of games. He's on the disabled list.
Well, Beltran was out a lot last year for the Mets.
That is right to Delgado.
We'll continue that when we get back.
1 man left. On to the 2nd inning. Beltran coming up. No score. Jin-Ming Wong back to work now. Carlos Beltran hitting cleanup with the Mets. Leads off. And ball 1. Beltran. He's a guy you expect anywhere 35 to 40-something home run, but he's only hit 3. 259, 3 homers, 24 batted in. Backhanded Cano, the spin. Oh, it's picked by Giambi. They got him.
I'm always amazed when I can see his second baseman. Look where he ended up, way over to shortstop position. He made that play perfectly. A lot of times you see guys stop to throw it. He continues to make the throw and the run. Now watch where he ends up way over behind Jeter, and he made a good throw. I mean, the first baseman is supposed to make that catch, John. Now watch where he ends up, way over on the Jeter side of shortstop. Excellent play.
That wasn't as short a hop, though, maybe as it appeared.
He's supposed to catch that, John. Look at the big glove he's got. This is the big legs, man.
That's coming from a former middle infielder.
Yeah, but it's the big legs.
I got it over there. So balance. Well, catch the ball.
Truthfully, on a play like that, that's your job, to get it around the bag someplace. Look at that big glove.
All right, so he really had nothing to do with it. It was the glove did the whole.
Well, I think that, no, Cano did it.
But it wasn't one of those balls you stuck the glove out and the ball just bounced up into it. He had to have some quick hands and shot the.
Well, he put a little flair to it, if that's what you mean.
He could have played middle infield with quick hands like that. Ryan Church, the hitter, having an excellent early part of the season with his new team, the Mets. And
And watch this. I mean, this is the tough part of it, John, right here. Running away from the first baseman and throwing it back.
But look at that play by Giambi. That would have been a throwing error for Cano.
Okay.
Saved him.
All right.
Jerry Jeter trying to get it there without bouncing.
How about that one? Can he catch that one?
All right, that's his job. 2 down, and here's Scott Reese with the Sports Center right now.
All right, John, the Celts beat the Cavs 97-92 this afternoon. They are on to the Eastern Conference Finals to take on the Pistons. This despite the best efforts of LeBron James, who had 45 in Game 7. And on the ice, Ryan Malone scored twice and set up a third tally. Pittsburgh beats Philly 6-0 to win the Eastern Conference Championship and earn a trip to the NHL Finals. Sports Center after the game. Stay current with ESPN News, guys.
Thanks, Scott. Here is Moises Alou. How about this? Moises Alou has been playing for a long time. Never played in Yankee Stadium until yesterday.
Yeah. Well, he's a hitter. Yankee Stadium deserves someone like him because he is a big league hitter. He has been for a long time. Consistent hitter. He can really hit.
That's the first ball in the air by the Mets against Wong. But an easy play for Abreu.
That's the four-seam fastball we talked about.
And that catch, that's Abreu's job. No problem. Right to him. 3 up, 3 down again. No score in the game. Giambi, Cano, Cabrera coming up. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, interleague play. The Yankees and Mets, no score. As we go to the last half of the second. And there's the look at the big crowd in the big ballpark in the Bronx. And tomorrow night, Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Chicago Cubs and the Houston Astros. Game will be available on ESPN in both Chicago and Houston. Then Wednesday Night Baseball, the Mets and the Braves, 7 Eastern. Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Goodyear. And we are pleased to report the return of our colleague Rick Sutcliffe, the former great big league right-hander for many, many years. And Rick has been battling the effects of cancer, and he's going to return on Wednesday night for that game in Atlanta.
Well, he still owes me, John.
He owes you?
Owes me for picking up those early season games for him.
So it's about time he got back to work.
Come on back. And he promised me he owed me, so I'll take care of you when I get back. So I'm looking forward to having a chance to see him, so I can see him as well as get taken care of. I don't know what that meant, but whatever.
Jason Giambi leads off for the Yankees against Perez, and a fastball and a strike. It's 2. I thought that you told him the only thing he could do for you is just get healthy and get back.
Well, that was number one thing.
Okay.
But there's more. There's more than one thing in baseball.
It's a business. 2-1 the count.
I know I digress a little bit, John, but I watched that game today on ABC, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. That was a big-time basketball game. And you mentioned LeBron James, 44, whatever. Paul Pierce did a great job. The Celtics did a great job as well. Great game.
And that's ball 4 to Giambi, the second walk already by Oliver Perez.
And I know that Marty Aronoff was watching. All right, we're going to have the Orlando Magic was beaten by Detroit, so Detroit's going to play Boston. And we're going to have to wait and see who wins the San Antonio-New Orleans series tomorrow. That'll be a great game, too. They've had some great playoff games this year.
I watched the final few minutes of the Celtics game today with Joe Girardi in his office and Brian Cashman, the general manager, and Yogi Berra.
Yeah, that's right. Yogi was there.
Cano, and that is going to get the out at first for Delgado, but Giambi moves over to second base. So Cano is promptly retired.
So that's what I meant about when you walk a guy. He walked Matsui with Doug Jeter with 2 outs. Matsui couldn't get him in, we'll say. Now you lead off with a walk. All of a sudden you're in trouble because Cano hits a ground ball. Now you have a run at second with 1 out, whereas before, you had after Jeter stole the bag, you had a runner at second with 2 outs. So it's when you give up your walks, I think, that makes a lot of difference. Lead-off walks usually haunt you a lot more than 2-out walks.
So they got 2 shots now to get Giambi in here. Melky Cabrera, switch hitter, batting right-handed. And ball 1. Oliver Perez has not been able to pitch more than 6 innings in a game. He has not pitched into the 7th inning in a single game this year, and only 3 times has even finished 6 innings. And that's off the outside. He tends to get a high pitch count, number 1.
Yeah. Well, he gets a high pitch count because, as you said, I mean, he does walk a lot of hitters.
And that really is most of his trouble, because when he gives up hits, usually they're not shots into the gap or over the wall. He's only allowed 7 extra base hits all year, and that's in 8 starts. But here he is, 3-0 to Cabrera, and the rookie Alberto Gonzalez is on deck.
Well, John, you can see he is clearly more comfortable pitching to left-handed hitters than he is right-handers. He finishes the pitch off with the left-handers. The right-handers, he kind of leaves it out there, and that's why it tails away so much.
And that's a strike, 3-1. He's from Culiacan, Mexico, and as a kid, he used to watch on television the great Fernando Valenzuela, and Fernando was his idol. And he does have one similarity to Fernando in that he tends to look away in the middle of a pitch, although I'm not seeing him doing it tonight, Joe. There's a pop fly. Could be trouble there. To make the catch is Church. Had to come a long way for that one. Giambi had to hold at second base. So right now, when the Yankees are hitting the ball, they're not really hitting it hard.
Well, you made a point. I mean, it was a good point. They do not get a lot of good wood on Perez. You see him making sure. See, now that's why he has that big glove like Giambi had. He used all of it right there. That's why I keep telling people shortstop's so tough to play. You don't have those huge gloves like they do in the outfield. You do not have the gloves they have at first base. You have to be able to go in and get it out and make the double play.
Here is Alberto Gonzalez, the rookie who's been up a couple of times this year. Once when Jeter went down for a few days back in April.
And he played well when Jeter was gone.
He did. And that's his normal position, shortstop. He's late on that fastball, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees need the RBI hit here. That's been a problem for them all week long. They're not hitting with runners in scoring position. In fact, most of the season it's been a problem. They're hitting only .244 as a team with runners in scoring position. Joe Girardi, the manager, in the foreground there. Jeter in the background. 2-1 the count.
John, I was just trying to be fair in our assessment of Willie Randolph and Joe Girardi, but when you have a teams that do not hit with runners in scoring position, there's not a lot that you can do. For instance, the Yankees, we mentioned 10th in the league in runs scored. Oh, that got the camera. Oh, it got the mic instead of the camera.
Got our parabolic microphone, Joe.
All right. Yeah, the camera's better protected.
I think the mic's okay, but the parabola got some damage. 2-2 the count. Giambi at second, 2 down. And the breaking ball, he just got a piece of it.
Yeah, but he hung it. I mean, and he was right on it. You got to get the ball down. Watch where this pitch ends up. And he is not fooled. Ooh. Look at that. I mean, the ball is up.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Or is we're in New York after all. Right down Broadway.
All right. Well, that goes back to the theory I've preached for years and years, and that is that every mistake a pitcher makes does not go out the ballpark like a lot of people seem to think. You do foul some back.
Well, this fastball, he got a pretty good rip at, too.
Yeah, but that one was a better location. That was in on the hands. He couldn't do much with that. He couldn't extend on that one.
3-2 the count. Giambi at second. Perez checks him. The breaking ball. Church. He's got it! A diving catch to save a run.
Well, that tells you there are a lot of Mets fans here as well as Yankee fans.
No score as we head to the third. Chin-Bing Wong back to the hill to face Delgado. New York, New York. The big city and the big ballpark in the Bronx in its final season of hosting Major League Baseball. Opened 85 years ago, the house that Ruth built. Or some said at that time, the house that was built for Ruth. It was only 296 feet of the right field foul pole when it first opened. in right field to begin with. Cano, and Delgado is very quickly retired. One away. Billy Wagner seemed to lash out at teammates Thursday for dodging reporters and ducking being accountable by failing to talk to the media. In a game where he hadn't even appeared, the writers came to Wagner's locker, and here's what he told them.
Somebody tell me why the closer's being interviewed and I didn't even play. Why they're over there not getting interviewed? I got it. They're gone. Shocker.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, there is some humor there. And I think he meant some of it to be humorous.
Here is Schneider, and it's a foul. Peter Gammons is with us. Peter?
Well, something similar came up last year in September. And Paul LaDuca made a comment about some of the Latin play. Hey, they can speak English too. But Billy Wagner made no such reference. He was talking generally. I mean, and this has been perceived a little bit as maybe something of a racist thing. It was not. And Billy is very upset about that perception.
Well, I didn't take it as a racist statement. I took it as a statement toward his teammates.
That's exactly what it was, Joe.
And again, the only thing I will quarrel with is the word accountability. See, you're accountable to your teammates. You're not accountable to the media. You should talk to the media and, you know, be part of the process of promoting the game. But your accountability comes in with your teammates and the players on your team. That's where the accountability comes in. And that accountability comes with performing on the field and giving it 100%, playing hard, hustling, and doing all the things that you're supposed to do to help win. But I took it as you did, that he was speaking about players in general.
Ryan Schneider called out on strikes, and man, that pitch had some serious movement coming back to the plate against a left-handed hitter. That Maddox-like movement.
And one other thing, John, he went to Carlos Delgado the next day and said, look, I wasn't talking about you because it was perceived that he was talking about Delgado, and you mentioned some of the Latin players. And he went to Delgado and he cleared the air. So his point was, I was talking in general and I wasn't talking about you specifically. Because the day that this happened, Delgado had a family emergency that he had to go and take care of, you know, as soon as the game was over. So he was already gone.
Well, in that comment that he made that we saw in the video, when he kind of gestured, according to the New York Times, toward the lockers of Carlos Beltran, Luis Castillo, and Carlos Delgado. Peter?
Well, it was typical of Delgado, because he told me that he went to Billy Wagner and said, look, I understand you weren't talking about me, but he said, you know what, I'm sorry, because you shouldn't be hung out there to dry in the clubhouse.
And again, that's where the accountability comes to your teammates.
Nice play by Cano. Only 15 pitches the last 2 innings thrown by Wong. No score. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from New York. The Mets of New York, nothing. The Yankees of New York, nothing. As Jose Molina leads off. One of the catching Molina brothers. Strike one from Oliver Perez. He's the middle brother. His older brother, Benji, the catcher. And this year, the cleanup hitter for the San Francisco Giants. And his kid brother, Yadier Molina, with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Yadier may, at this point, Joe, have the mantle of the biggest weapon as a catcher in terms of picking off runners and throwing out base stealers and really shutting down a running game. So the three Molinas certainly know how to play that position. And Jose is struggling with the bat. Hitting only .203 and chasing that slider. And that was 3 pitches and out. Jose Molina is gone. One away, first strikeout for Perez. Here's our Lowe's home team advantage. And the Yankees certainly always feel comfortable when they play at Yankee Stadium. The fans, and there are a lot of them, I think they almost feel like they're part of the Yankees. They're part of the franchise. 3 straight years, over 4 million paid attendance. 4 million. 1 ball and no strikes to Johnny Damon, who flied to left his first time.
Man, if you have an attendance clause, you get paid.
See, you're already plotting a comeback. And I want to come back as a Yankee and put that attendance clause that I never used to get paid very much for when well, the Cincinnati Reds in their great days.
Yeah, but
Red Machine, you drew pretty well.
Yeah, my attendance clause didn't pay me like what the $4 million would, though.
A ball and a strike to Johnny Damon. Damon flying out to left his first time, and that is a slider that misses.
Johnny,
2 balls and a strike.
You made the point, Alex Rodriguez is, he carried this team almost single-handedly last year, the first month of the season. Then Jorge got hot, and the both of them continued. And Jorge had his best season last year, average-wise, etc. So I think that, missing both of them makes a big difference in any lineup. If you take David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez out of their lineup, Boston, they would look a little different. And one of the things I read when I got here is that they look listless at times. But that was the same thing they said last year when they weren't winning. When you're not winning, you do not look like, you're on top of your game.
Especially when you're not hitting.
Right, and that's the point. But last year they were able to turn it around and go.
Man, nasty. Strike 3, 2 in a row for Oliver Perez.
Well, you can see he has more weapons against a left-handed hitter because he's able to get them to chase pitches. Right-handers do not chase that many pitches off of Perez, but see, that pitch clearly out of the strike zone. You will not see a lot of right-handers chase those pitches. That's why he has more success and he feels more comfortable throwing to left-handed hitters.
Oliver Perez, lefties are hitting 103 against him, and the Yankees have 5 lefties in their batting order tonight. Here's Bobby Abreu, another one of them. He hit it back to Perez his first time, and that's a strike.
And one other thing, where he stands on the mound, John, he stands on the third base side. With a right-handed hitter, it is harder for him to get the ball to run to the outside corner. It will usually run off. Now, watch him, he steps. Now he comes kind of sidearm on the left-hander, so everything is perfect against left-handed pitching.
He hurried that throw, but it was handled nicely by Delgado on a short hop, because that's his job as a first baseman.
Well, that's his job, John.
Well, it's true. Didn't have a big hop. That was a little short hop. Top of the order, Reyes coming up. Yesterday, Johan Santana, the great left-hander, formerly the Twins, now a Met, got his first baptism under fire in a Mets-Yankees Subway Series game. He got a win right here at Yankee Stadium. He's standing by downstairs with Peter Gammons.
Johan, what's it been like coming to New York with such expectations?
I mean, everything it's been fine. I mean, it's fun to be here, making an adjustment in the National League. It's a learning process. I'm still learning a lot of things, but so far it's been fun. And then, just trying to help my team.
Were you a little bit surprised at first when you pitched at Chase Stadium and the fans were getting on the players a little bit? Did that kind of take you back a little bit?
Well, I knew coming, that they're very demand fans, and then, as a player, you're trying to do the best you can. We're going to make mistakes sometimes, but that's how you learn from those mistakes. And then, at the end, we'll see the results. I mean, we're trying to do the best we can to try to win games every time. And then, but we know that they're out there, because they're tough. But at the same time, it's part of the game. You have to just do everything.
Now, in your best years, you've always been a better pitcher in the second half than in the first half. Do you look forward to that again this year?
Well, definitely. I'm still making progress and making adjustments, and hopefully, from now on, we get everything together and trying to, to be consistent and finish strong.
Johan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And Jose Reyes blasts one into right center field, up against the base of the wall on a hop. It's a double for Jose Reyes.
A nice job out there by Abreu. Because if you mishandle it at all, it's going to be a triple for Reyes. But he played the carom perfectly, and he held him to a double. There's a fastball that got up a little bit, didn't sink as much, and Reyes rips it in the right center. Now watch how well Abreu makes the play, because if this ball bounces one more time, Reyes would have gotten a triple easily. See, he slowed down because he knows that he can't go to third.
He's hit 5 triples this year. And Mets fans trying to get that "Let's Go Mets" cheer started. Yankee fans trying to shout him down. Here is Marlon Anderson showing bunt, taking ball 1. That double makes Reyes the first man to reach base for the Mets in this game.
I like what Anderson did there, John. He's going to make sure he gets him over instead of saying, well, I'm going to try to pull it through the right side and get a base hit. You know, if you set him up and get to 2-0 and you know what's coming, that's okay. But he wants to make sure in a tight ball game like this that you do your job. This is what I was talking about with the accountability.
Bunted foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Power up next with David Wright on deck, then Beltran behind him. No score in the game. The Yankees have not had a hit against Oliver Perez, and although he walked a couple in the first 2 innings, his 3rd inning, Joe, maybe an ominous sign for the Yankees because he was throwing strikes in that 3rd inning, and he made short work of the Yankees. 11 pitches and out, 2 strikeouts in the inning. Reyes at second. Jeter right behind him, trying to keep him close. Now Wong makes a move toward it. Reyes has 12 steals this year. We always expect him to be leading the National League in steals. Not so far this year. Michael Bourne of Houston began the day with 18 to lead the league. And Reyes is in 5th place. Well, Reyes, it looked like he was trying to get his attention, Joe, and he got it.
Well, if you're a base stealer, again, what you do is you interrupt the pitcher's concentration. If he's thinking about you at all, that means he can't give 100% concentration to the hitter.
They got Reyes hung up. He throws to Jeter. Quickly to third. Got him. And that's not supposed to happen.
Well, that's not a good base running play by Reyes. I mean, you get off, get your lead. The ball's hit back to the pitcher. I mean, you're supposed to go back. But he had such a big lead, there was no chance for him to get back. And now that takes the runner out of scoring position. But again, that's Marlon Anderson to me. If he wasn't, he could have tried to bunt again. If you can't pull the ball, then go ahead and bunt. In a game where it's a tight ball game, 1 run makes a big difference.
David Wright. And the sinker fouled. Strike 1. And Marlon Anderson is a guy who has stolen 2 bases. He's not the prolific base stealer that Jose Reyes is. If Reyes has been able to stay at second base, and he might have even been able to steal third at some point.
With a right-handed hitter up there. I saw a game earlier this year I broadcast, CC Sabathia and Wong. And Wong won 1-0 because they couldn't move a runner over after the leadoff double in Cleveland to give him a chance to tie the game.
That's through. Gonzalez made the dive, couldn't get it. Anderson over to second. You know, going back to that rundown play with Reyes,
yeah,
I thought Jeter made a very nice play because I don't think Wong handled it that well.
Well, I don't think Reyes handled it well either, John, because he was not in a hot box. They weren't close to him. Jeter went in to make sure that Reyes could not get back to second, but there was a lot of area in there that Reyes could have played with, could have given Anderson a chance to, run and maybe get to second base.
Was throwing it where Reyes was at the time that Wong threw it. Put a lot of heat on Jeter to make that good throw with a runner in the baseline.
Well, the point is, watch how far away from Jeter Reyes is when Wong throws him the ball. See, now look at that. What you have to do is make Jeter, he said, give it to me. So you have to make Jeter come to you, and he didn't do that. Jeter just made the throw to third base, and Reyes was out. So it was too quickly He was out too quickly for Anderson to move up.
So really, Wong did the right thing because Jeter calls for it, then go ahead and throw it.
Well, if Jeter calls for it, you have to give him the ball. That's the way it's supposed to be in a rundown. The guy that's receiving the throw is supposed to make the call. Give it to me now.
So here's Beltran with one out, 2 men on. He's the cleanup hitter, but he'd been struggling early on this year. Swinging at that sinker and a little dribbler that made it, 15 feet away from home plate. 2-1 the count. That's why Wong is so tough. That's a 2-0 pitch. He's looking fastball. He's totally in the hitter's favor. And Wong, that ball just disappeared. There have been several hitters say that's the best sinker you're ever going to see.
Yeah, it's a power sinker. There are a lot of guys that throw sinkers. A power sinker not only is fast, but it's heavy. The ball seems much heavier. It's like hitting a shot put almost.
Now it's 3-1 to Beltran with Ryan Church on deck. Great shot at Jeter in that rundown, by the way, with very clearly seeing Jeter call for the ball.
Well, here's the question: do you send him? Because if you send him and he swings out through the ball, the runner third is an easy out because of the left-handed hitter.
They're not going.
Well, now do you send him? I guess
I'm sending him now.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally.
Yeah.
But he's not, although he's striking out more than he ever has before, and I'm talking about Chien-Ming Wong, he's not still a strikeout pitcher, and Beltran is liable to hit a ground ball for a double play if you don't start him here.
Well, I agree that he's not your normal type of strikeout pitcher where he can throw a high fastball by you. But if you're the runners at first and second, you have to take off because if it's a one hopper someplace, it's still a double play.
Wong.
And there's that cheating play.
You don't like that?
No.
Because he's trying
to step off.
He literally is trying to deceive.
Well, definitely trying to deceive the runner.
And the point of that play is if they're going in first motion, then he might pick him off. 3-2. They're not going. Ball 4. And now they are loaded for Ryan Church.
Right fielder, Ryan Church.
But again, this is where Wong, this is a very difficult spot, but he maybe is better equipped to get a ground ball than just about any pitcher in the league.
Well, you're correct. But the first pitch and this at bat is the most important pitch if you're Ryan Church. I mean, you can look for a sinker and try to hit it in the air. You can still, slightly elevate your swing to get the ball in the air.
Bases loaded. Middle infield double play deck for the Yankees. 1 ball and no strike. He started with a changeup.
Well, he's been using the changeup, as we said earlier, against left-handed hitters a lot more than he ever has in the past.
He's induced 5 double play groundouts. Bases loaded for the Mets. 1 out in the 4th inning. No score. Diving, Giambi. Diving is Jeter. But he did not hold it. Everybody's safe. A run is scored. One to nothing Mets.
I know as an infielder, when the ball is hit, you want to try to complete the double play. But once you make a catch like that, it's not going to be a double play. You have to make sure of one. So he throws from his knees and actually throws off of his one knee. But, I mean, you have to make sure of one. And a good job by Jeter to keep the ball from going into the outfield. And the point there, you see, Jeter was on the right field side of the bag, which is where he's supposed to be, because it gives him a better angle to throw to second base so he won't be throwing through the runner.
Now, Moises Alou. And Moises has not come back from the disabled list, hitting for power the way we're used to seeing him. He has only 2 extra base hits in 39 at-bats, but he has been an excellent RBI man for a long, long time. The bases are loaded. That's a fielder's choice, by the way. And a run batted in for Church. No no hit, no error. 1 ball, 1 strike to Moises. He flied out to right his first time. Over at third is David Wright, who moves pretty well. So if Alou can hit that same fly ball, Wright may test Abreu or any of the Yankee outfielders. But Abreu's the one who's got the best arm. Melky Cabrera also has a pretty good arm in center field. Johnny Damon has a very weak arm in left field. Shin-Ming Wong's not interested in a fly ball. He wants the ground ball. Base hit down the right field line. Wright is in to score. Here comes Beltran. The throw in, cut off by Cano. A single for Alou. 2-run score, and Church goes round to third. 3-0 Mets.
Well, that was an excuse me swing. Johnny actually tried to check his swing on this pitch. So the Mets are getting some breaks here because that was definitely not. Watch Moises Alou. See, he tried to check his swing, and he just flips it. See, he's trying to hold back, and he couldn't hold back. But if the pitch was up, which is what you're looking for, so that you can get it in the air.
Dave Island, the pitching coach, dispatched by manager Joe Girardi. There's Joe. To the mound, you speak with Shin-Ming Wong. This is becoming a big inning for the Mets. They've got 3 runs home and still only 1 out. And Carlos Delgado coming up. Time was when Delgado coming up was a worst-case scenario for just about any pitcher, especially a right-handed pitcher. Delgado now has hit more home runs than any Major League player to come from Puerto Rico in Major League history. Down the left field line, toward the corner. That is a fair ball, a home run. And the Yankees are going to argue. Derek Jeter was one of the first to get over there with Mike Riley, the third base umpire, who made the call.
But you could see there was some indecision on Mike Riley's part, John. He didn't call it right away. Now it's a foul ball. See, he did not call it right away. So there was some indecision on his part. Well, that fan is saying that it hit the foul pole. Well, he said it hit the foul pole, the fan. Now watch, Riley doesn't make the call right away. That's a home run.
Wow.
That's a home run. Well, you know, one of the problems is there's no yellow down there at the bottom. You see, there's no yellow. That is a home run. I'm trying to figure out who got a better look at it than Riley did. Riley did not call it right away, so he was confused a little bit.
Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, would have been the other guy looking straight down
I know,
the line.
but I would like to know who called it. I mean, you can see the fan clearly said the ball hits the pole. You can see it hit the pole, but see, it's black there. See, without, it ricochets off.
So it really hits the screen and then bounces down.
And that's why, with the black being there, I don't know why it's not yellow all the way down, I guess. But it was clear that is a home run. And I was just saying the Mets were getting a lot of breaks. Well, that's one that goes against them. That's the 3-run homer right there.
So really it never did hit the screen. Look at this. It actually hit the top of the wall.
Yeah, it hit the black. It ricocheted off the black portion of the foul pole.
Delgado will have to try and do it again.
Well, that's
that's funny because it hit fair. It hit right above that white line, which the foul line on the wall. And now Bob Davidson goes over and he's going to throw. Has he thrown anybody out yet? Jerry Manuel has just been thrown out of the game, it appears.
See, the only problem I have with this, John, remember, you're supposed to get the call right. All right? Now, somebody has to have had a definitive look to say that ball was foul, because in the end, Riley did call it fair. So someone, you should have, in order to change that, someone had to be perfectly clear on themselves and 100% sure that that ball was not fair. And I don't see how anybody could have been. Riley was closest to it, and I don't know why he let them change it.
And the runners will hold. Alou, who is 41 years old, the runner at first base, coming back from an injury. He wasn't going anywhere.
Well, again, it was clear that Riley was confused down there. He wasn't sure, but in his best estimation, the ball was fair. Now, in order for that to be changed, again, someone should have been 100% sure it wasn't fair. And I don't see how you could be, because it was a fair ball.
The foul pole is entirely in fair ground.
Right.
But there is at least a few inches space, and we saw it there between the wall and the foul pole.
Right.
And it hit in those few inches, and it bounced to the foul side of the foul pole. And that's, of course, is the whole point. If it goes to into the seats on the foul side, then it's a foul ball. But that one hit the wall right in front of the pole.
You see Riley finally pointing it fair right there. Now he is convinced by Johnny Damon that it's a foul ball. But right there, you can see that is clearly a fair ball.
Clearly fair.
It hits the black part of the foul pole and ricochets off.
2-2 the count. Runners at first and third. A 3-run homer it would have been. Yeah, and that's a 6-0 Mets lead. Instead, it's still 3-0. And Carlos Delgado's having quite a battle here with Chin-Ming Wong.
You know, that's one of the reasons people are calling for instant replay, but I don't think instant replay would work in this situation, because I don't think you should do it at this point in the game, because we would have every play reviewed.
Umpiring alignment for tonight. Off the mask of Molina, the catcher, and Delgado stays alive. 3-2 the count out. I have to say, I don't know, Joe, but at the same time, because he's the only other umpire looking straight down the line, that Bob Davidson is the one who must have seen that it bounced out of play on the foul side of the pole.
Well, he's the only one that would have the look that you're
He must not have seen that it bounced. Saw it go into the stand, and perhaps not seeing that it bounced fair on the top of the wall first.
He's talking. Riley's, everybody's, well, he said foul. I read his lips. And Alfonso Marquez said foul. But I think the last word came from home plate umpire Bob Davidson, because he is the crew chief as well.
That's a base hit to right field. Church scores. Alou comes around second base, and the throw goes through. It's a 4-run inning for the Mets.
Well, there's a little justice there.
Well, instead of 3 RBIs and another homer to add to his very robust career total, it's an RBI single. Yeah. It will just have to do.
Well, he gets the ground ball, but Carlos Delgado pulls it in the hole. And he was trying to get the ground ball. He got the ground ball. That's one of the things about sinker ball pitchers. You'll get the ground ball, but whether they find holes or not determines the outcome of your ball game a lot of times. A lot of the other ground balls have been caught.
So here is Schneider, still only 1 out. That's foul. And the Yankee bullpen is working now.
And one thing we should point out is that obviously the umpires do not have the advantage of instant replay to see that ball, see whether it was fair or foul. But I still believe that Mike Riley called it fair. Then someone has to be 100% sure that it was foul before they change it. And that's kind of what's bothering me about that.
But it could be, based on what we saw there, maybe even more than one of the other umpires.
Yeah, well, we saw Marquez,
thought it was foul.
But he's looking from first base. I don't know how he could call it foul.
That ball is hammered foul into the seats by Schneider. 0-2. Edward Ramirez is warming up in the Yankee bullpen, a right-hander. 4 runs are in for the Mets. There is Ramirez, number 36.
This is very unusual, obviously, for Chien-Ming Wang because he's pitched so well. But this is kind of what has happened to Andy Pettitte. He's had that one bad inning usually about this time. He's pitched well at the beginning of the ball games, and then he has started to struggle.
0-2 the count. 2 men on. Diving Cano is only plays to first in time to get the catcher Schneider. The runners move up. Alou to third. Delgado to second.
Second baseman, Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo, the 9th batter of the inning, coming up now. 26 pitches and 9 up and 9 down in the first 3 innings. In this inning alone, 28 pitches now, and 4 runs are in. He's had to face the entire lineup in the 1 inning. Castillo grounded to second to end the 3rd in his at-bat. The fastball sinking in there for a strike. It all started with the Jose Reyes double to right center, and then moments later a base running mistake by Reyes, but it hasn't deterred the Mets. And a big play, Joe, and it's hard to point a finger at Jason Giambi because he made a diving snare of the ground ball, but as you pointed out at the time, he tried to get the runner at second base and didn't get anybody out.
You have to make sure one.
And he had a clear shot to get the runner at first with Wong covering. That's foul. That was a ground ball hit by Ryan Church, but the bases loaded and 1 out. So a run was going to score anyway.
Right, and there was no way you're going to double up Ryan Church, who runs well. So you just have to make sure you get 1.
But that would have been the 2nd out of the inning.
Right.
A lot of things would have been different, perhaps. Or on the flip side, if you're a Mets fan, that ball could have been called fair. A lot of things would have been different right there.
Exactly.
6 runs are in instead of 4. Change up. 2-2 the count. Really, a lot of people down in the hometown of Chien-Ming Wang, which is Tainan in Taiwan, 7,800 miles from New York, where it's been said, and for good reason, that Chien-Ming Wang is bigger as a personality than the president of Taiwan. Everything he does is chronicled there, carried on television. Just missing that ball. Had that movement coming back to the plate. 3-2.
Well, it tailed back, but not quick enough.
Another point, Moises Alou drove in 2 runs in this inning when he was trying not to swing.
Yeah, that's why I say they had everything was they were getting breaks until Delgado came up. A lot of things happened positive for him.
It's a walk, and it goes on. The bases are again loaded. And Jose Reyes, who led off the inning with a double, with a chance now to really turn this into a gigantic inning. The bases are loaded, 2 down, and Reyes has started to swing the bat here in these 2 days at Yankee Stadium. He had 2 hits here yesterday, including a home run at his last at bat. He got the first hit tonight. A double to right center that started this inning.
The shortstop,
Edward Ramirez up to the bullpen, right-hander. Jeter in, along with Molina, for a conversation with Wong for a moment. Here's the home run yesterday against Kyle Farnsworth. Into the porch. That famous home run porch at Yankee Stadium. Now 3-14 down the right field line. Bases loaded. 2 down. Wong ready to go. Popped up. Both Damon and Cabrera there. It's Damon. The inning is over. 35 pitches. Moises Alou didn't want to swing, but an accidental 2-run single, and then fair or foul? Oh, fair. No, called foul.
With 1 swing, he could win the game.
He winds and fires. And there's a long drive to deep right. It goes back.
As long as there's been the great American pastime, there's been the great American lager.
I don't believe what I just saw!
Budweiser since 1876.
We're back here at Yankee Stadium, Sunday Night Baseball. The Mets with 4 runs. They thought it should have been at least 6 runs.
Definitely.
And there's a reporter out there talking to the fan who was indicating where he thought the ball actually landed, in which our cameras. But look how much room there is between the wall where that ball landed and that foul pole. The reporter is sitting in the space, in effect.
Yeah.
See where that the line comes up, the foul line, right there. And look where he's sitting, between that line and the pole.
Well, and I'm not going to call him a reporter. I'm going to call him a journalist.
A journalist?
Yeah, because he is out doing the job. He's out there getting firsthand information. He could have just believed me, but he's going to go out there and get firsthand information. I mean, here's the pole would be, well, it's not that far from the angle we're looking, but it is.
Well, when you see it from the other angle, I think it's clear that it is significantly.
Yeah.
Now, that one
he's
makes it
sitting
look close, but look.
Well, but he's sitting though, John, on between the foul line and the foul pole. He's sitting there,
and the pole,
so it's at least the width of a journalist's body.
So that one had plenty of room to hit the top of the wall and then bounce to the foul side of the pole, but it bounced on the top of the wall, clearly in fair ground. Now we have our own cameraman journalist out there, Joe.
All right.
And there's the guy who came up with the ball.
And he's
trying to show you
where it hit. Well, there's a spot there. He's showing us the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a spot right there.
And look how much room there is between the padding.
Yeah, the white line is clearly,
you know. Wait a minute. It looks like the foul pole is in the wrong spot.
Well,
that shot, doesn't it?
Maybe in
base hit.
Maybe in a new Yankee Stadium it would be in the right spot.
Well, it looks like the foul pole for that shot is about 2 feet from where it's supposed to be. There's the black mark or the mark or whatever.
Yeah.
But look where the white line that comes up in the stands is there. Yeah. Where's the foul pole? It's supposed to be right behind that white line.
It's supposed to be right behind it. Yeah.
Hold on. No wonder they're building a new stadium.
How many times has that happened in the past where it misses the foul pole, yet it was fair? You know, it may have just missed the foul pole and still been fair.
So that ball was way fair.
Yeah.
Here is Matsui. Toward right field. Deep. Way back there. Gone! A home run! Godzilla goes deep in the big city.
But John, it's just what we've talked about with Oliver Perez. I mean, you give him the lead with 4-0, and what does he do? He goes out there and gives up 2 right away.
Sixth of the year for Matsui. So from 4-0, and Mets fans start 6-0. Now it's just a 2-run lead. Things are just getting warmed up here at Yankee Stadium. Giambi, who homered yesterday. Strike one.
Well, it's supposed to be a fastball away, and you can see it doesn't get away. It's on the inside half of the plate, and Matsui lights it up.
Popped up foul. Behind the plate. A lot of room in foul ground here. And caught by Schneider.
Nice play.
I think that at this point, the different configurations in the different ballparks, there's more room between home plate and the backstop than any other ballpark.
The one thing about a foul ball, when it goes back, it will spin back towards you. Because of the reverse spin, it will come back to you. It doesn't keep going away from you. See how it has to stop and reach back? Because it's coming back to you. The spin on a foul ball always brings it back.
See all that room. There used to be even more than that. Dodger Stadium used to have a huge amount of room, but now they put in some special seats. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure the price.
No, expensive seats.
4-2 Mets. And here is Robinson Cano, who grounded out his first time. It is only 318 feet down the left field line here at Yankee Stadium. In the old days, it was 301 feet to the left field foul call before the remodel back in the mid-70s. 1 ball, 1 strike, 296 to right field. Those were the historic dimensions. 296 to right and 301 down the left field line. So if it was still the old days before that remodel, Delgado's ball wouldn't even have had time to go foul. See 314 down the right field line to the famous home run porch. That got a piece of Cano. He'll take first, hit by the pitch.
Fastball inside gets him on the bottom of his right elbow.
And now Rick Peterson, the Mets pitching coach, is going to go out and talk to Perez. Delgado is already over there talking with him. Schneider, the catcher, comes to the mound now. There's Peterson. And this is part of the perplexing nature of Oliver Perez's year and in some ways his career. He has a hard time sometimes staying focused or keeping his momentum going in a good way.
He's pitched pretty well in close games when they didn't give him, leads. He's pitched well. It's 1-0 or 2-0. He's pitched well, and he seems to stay focused in those situations. John, I was looking at one of the difference between, let's say, Joe Torre and Joe Girardi is that Girardi has used 38 different lineups to try to come out of this slump, whereas Joe Torre usually would ride the wave.
Down the right field line by Melky Cabrera. Foul ball.
And Joe would, realize that these guys have track records and they would just come out of it. Joe's a little different. He wants to, wants to react and make something happen. In fact, I'm going to ask him that question when I get a chance next inning. But I think that, there's just two different ways of looking at a lineup. And the great thing about baseball, there's always more than one way to get your job done.
1 strike the count. There goes the runner. And the throw down by Schneider is high. Castillo looked like he was in the NBA. He went so high to take that throw. But in so doing, Cano slid in under it.
Well, they brought Schneider here because he's a very good defensive catcher. We saw in the highlight how good he is. This throw is just so high that Castillo doesn't have time to come down in time. A reasonable throw, and they would have had him.
The Mets rarely give up a steal. And Schneider's a big part of that. Right center field. Castillo out. Still going out. And caught by Church, the right fielder.
Nice play by Church. That's
another nice one for you.
Yeah, that's what you want, John. You want an outfielder to come and take charge. As an infielder, you're going out with your back to the infield. You're going out because you're not sure if he can get there. But an outfielder's job is to bust hard and get there and take anything that he can get. Let's see, Castillo's got his back there. That's a tough play for him. Church comes in, very simple play. It's right in front of him.
Now Alberto Gonzalez in the dirt. Through Schneider and Cano over to third. Cano got the second with his first steal of the year. Now he goes to third on the wild pitch.
Well, what you see with Girardi sending Cano and sending Jeter earlier, again, you're just taking off on his first movement because most left-handed pitchers do not like to throw to first base. Even though a lot of them may have good moves, they do not like to throw to first base.
Jam. The Yankees have not had a hit with a runner in scoring position in the series. Castillo, and the inning is over. 0 for 13 as a team in these 2 games. But 2 runs of the Matsui homer. Anderson, then David Wright coming up. 4-2 Mets as we go to the 5th inning. And we're very pleased to be joined now by Yankee manager Joe Girardi from the Yankee dugout. Many thanks, Joe.
Thanks, John. Hi, Joe. How are you
doing?
I'm good.
I noticed that you're, putting runners in motion. You're doing things. Are you trying to help this offense that is 10th in runs scored?
Yeah, we're trying to take advantage of some situations. And, we've had a tough time scoring runs this week, and we're just trying to make something happen.
All right, you've also used 38 different lineups. What is your philosophy on that?
Well, I like to use the same lineup every day, but with people in and out of the lineup, Derek Jeter was early, and Posada's been out most of the year, and now A-Rod for the last 3 weeks. We just had to mix and match because of injury.
Hey, what happened with A-Rod today down in Florida?
Well, he had 20 at-bats in a simulated game today, and I think he had 6. He was 6 for 15 with 5 walks, so he had a good day. He'll play again tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get him back on Tuesday.
Has it been harder or what you expected managing the Yankees?
No, it's been what I've expected. You know, the unfortunate things is we've had some injuries, but every team has to deal with that, and you have to find a way to win.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Joe Girardi, sincere thanks to him for coming on with us during the ball game. Now the Mets, after a 4-run 4th inning, come up with Marlon Anderson, David Wright, and Carlos Beltran against Chien-Ming Wang, who tries to put things back together. And he's still right in the ball game, despite that 4-run inning. I can't get over it, Joe. It's always been sort of an article of faith in any ballpark, but Yankee Stadium, are you kidding me? The left field foul pole is actually in the wrong spot.
It's all those years we watched all those great games of, summer classics that it wasn't exactly where it should be.
After 85 years? You think it's been like that for 85 years? Or maybe just, since they reopened it in 76? Yeah. That is a foul ball.
In fact, in 76, that ball that Bench hit down there may have been a fair ball in 76.
Is that another reporter down there?
We got a couple of journalists here tonight.
Well, those guys, they're also getting airtime on Sunday night. They may have their own afternoon show on ESPN this time next year. 2-2 the count to Marlon Anderson. He's 0 for 2 in the game. 3-2 now. Anderson in left field, and Moises Alou is the designated hitter. Of course, National League teams don't use the DH. And I think when you talk to National League managers, they feel like the American League team has a big advantage in the American League ballpark because they have a guy who's normally the DH who's big and burly and hits a lot of home runs, and National League teams don't have those guys sitting on the bench. One away. Here's Scott Reese with the Sports Center right now.
All right, John, what a Game 7 today in Boston. The Celtics beat the Cavaliers 97-92 despite 45 from LeBron James. The Celtics win that series 4-3, and they are on to the Eastern Conference Finals to take on the Pistons. On ice, Ryan Malone scored twice and set up a third one. Pittsburgh beats Philly 6-0 to earn a trip to the NHL Finals, also known as the Stanley Cup Finals. Sports Center after the game. Stay current with ESPN News.
LeBron James was great, Johnny. Had 44 points, as you said, but 45 points. But Paul Pierce had 39 in a winning effort.
We didn't get that on?
Yeah, in a winning effort.
And he's the guy who's guarding LeBron.
Right, exactly. So they kind of offset each other, right? Well, he had lots of help now.
They were saying that.
No, but he had lots of help.
The analysts were saying that it was taken away from Pierce's offensive game. All of the effort he had to put into guarding LeBron.
Yeah, well, it may have earlier, but it didn't
maybe today they said, listen, don't worry so much about LeBron.
Yeah, we'll help you.
And you put some points on the board.
It was like I said, it was a great game. I enjoyed it.
0-2 the count to David Wright. He singled in that 4-run 4th inning rally. And the slider. A ball and 2 strikes.
And I guess I was a Celtic fan because my dad was a Celtic fan. And Bill Russell's one of my closest friends. So he set the legacy there that they're trying to live up to in Boston.
Well, I guess I am too, because I know Bill Russell's a great baseball fan.
Yes, he is. Definitely.
Derek Jeter and David Wright is out number 2. Jeter looking smooth and sure out there. We got 2 of the very best shortstops in the game. Jeter, the great American League shortstop. There was a time in the American League, Joe, where it was Jeter, A-Rod, and Nomar. And Miguel Tejada came along to become a 4th. And without question, they were the 4 best in the game. Now, the National League may have preeminence in that regard. They've really developed some outstanding young shortstops in the senior circuit as Beltran, into shallow right. Abreu. Well, I'd say Wong has rebounded very nicely.
Yes, he has.
Molina, Damon, Abreu coming up. Sunday Night Baseball continues from New York. 4-2, the Mets lead the Yankees. Oliver Perez to Jose Molina, hit well. Right center. Off the wall. And Molina has a double.
Another excellent try by Ryan Church in right field. This ball is up, and look how far he goes for it, and he just can't quite get there in time. He's right on line, but he just can't quite get there in time. They didn't have enough hang time for him to get all the way back there. You see, he went a long way to try to track that ball down.
Now Johnny Damon, the leadoff man, is flied out to left and struck out. Struck out in a pitch similar to that, a slider back in the third inning. 4-2, the Mets are leading. Hit number 3 for the Yankees, a double by Molina. Yankees hitting only .244 with runners in scoring position for the year, last in the league, and hitless. They've come up empty all through this series. 13 batters have come to the plate with a runner at second or third or both, and not a one of them has had a hit. 1 ball, 1 strike to Johnny Damon. Damon, though, could have a very nice at bat here, even if he doesn't get a hit, if he just gets Molina over to third.
Yeah, because it's still a tight ball game, and that's what I thought Anderson should have done. If you're not sure that you can pull the ball, I mean, and it's no disgrace not to be able to pull the ball sometimes. If you're not sure, just go ahead and drop it down.
Well, it looks like against this tough left-hander, it's going to be real tough to pull the ball for Johnny Damon. Pulled it, broke his bat in doing it. Delgado to Perez covering for the out, and Molina is over to third base with 1 away, and Abreu coming up. Let's go to Peter Gammon. Peter?
Well, it's interesting. Barry Bonds once told me that Oliver Perez had the best stuff of any left-hander he's ever faced, which is something of a compliment. But the thing that drives the Mets crazy is that he can be throwing great, using that stuff, and all of a sudden he'll start trying to drop down and be John Candelaria throwing sidearm. And it's that inconsistency in his delivery and his mental process that sometimes drives him a little batty.
I know he struck Damon out with a slider the last time up, but when you throw a left-hander a slider like that, he's going to pull it. I mean, that's all he can do is pull the ball.
So there is Molina now at third base. The corner infielder at third right is pulled in a bit. The middle infield is back. And there is ball 1 to Abreu as the Mets have a 2-run lead with which to work here in the 5th inning. Abreu has never had a hit against Oliver Perez. Tonight he's hit 2 balls back to Perez and is 0 for 8 lifetime against him.
Don Baylor always had this theory, don't give away a run. He would play the infield in here. That was Don Baylor's philosophy. It's not to say that should be someone else's.
Although for Baylor, it was part and parcel of having to manage every day at Coors Field in Denver, which the pre-humidor.
Yeah, I actually believe there are times, that you just do not give them a run. And that's kind of the way that Don was thinking. Always just give up a run because you're ahead. There's the drop down that Peter was mentioning.
Almost a wild pitch. 2-1 the count.
Well, this is a sidearm fastball, and he goes way down sidearm, and he throws it way off the plate outside. Good play there by Snyder. Snyder's had a pass ball earlier, but that was an excellent play.
And a swing.
And there's a slider off the plate.
There's that save by Snyder.
John, you're saying they call that pitch a wild pitch, the one that went through his legs?
That's the way they scored it.
Well, I put pass ball down. I'm going to leave it.
All right. Well, I'm going with you then.
Yeah.
Except not officially.
Not officially. Well, my scorebook's not official anyway.
Down the left field line. Toward the foul pole. foul ball is the ruling by Mike Riley.
And he gets a lot of reaction from fans. There's our spotter.
Now, when you see that foul pole in the same shot with that foul line,
right there, it looks like it's directly in line.
And I think,
well, you know, the reason, John, is it's curved around there. Remember, it's not straight. It doesn't go straight across at that point down the left field line. It's kind of curved. See how it's curved around? And that's why it looks straight when you're looking down the line, but because of the curvature of the wall, it's not directly in line.
And the curvature of the earth.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to get that heavy. You're an environmentalist now. Yeah.
So really, we talk about a distorted camera angle.
Yeah.
Which is what the umpires have been complaining about with that center field shot all these years. And a foul back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's why we have K-Zone.
Yeah. Using
the state-of-the-art technology also used in missile guidance systems, because our center field cameras are offline. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see home plate. The pitcher would be in the way. So you see that shot is distorted well offline. Strike 3 call. The slider over the outside. Abreu is now 0 for 9 against Perez. 5 strikeouts.
That was a beautiful pitch from Oliver Perez. You see the target right there. Beautiful pitch. You know, you can tell from up here how the catcher catches the ball, whether he had to move or not. He did not. Right on the outside part of the plate, knee high.
So Abreu not able to get that runner home from third. That's a huge out.
And I've said a lot of times, sometimes you take the pitch not because you think it's a ball, but because you couldn't hit it anyway.
Here's Jeter. He has walked and singled against Oliver Perez and has scored a run. Runner at third, 2 down. On the hands, fouled out of play. Now Jeter has 5 hits in 13 at-bats. It's almost like you can just see the difference that a right-handed hitter has in facing Oliver Perez versus a left-hander. Jeter's had a lot of success. Bobby Abreu, an outstanding hitter, has never been able to touch him. Tonight, Abreu, 2 comebackers and a called third strike. Jeter, a walk and a steal, a single and a run scored. 4-2 Mets. Up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. The left-handed hitters, and the Yankees have 5 lefties in their order tonight, don't forget, have 1 hit in 10 at-bats against him. The only left-hander to have a hit is Matsui, and his was the big one, a 2-run shot into the right field bleachers, or the right field stands. 2-1. There's Matsui-san on deck. Jeter would love to see Matsui get another shot at him here in the 5th inning.
Matsui lined out the first base his first time up, then he hit a home run in the 4th inning.
He made hard contact.
Yeah.
He's got 3 home runs now, by the way, against Perez in 9 career at-bats against him. 2-1. And Jeter lunging at that slider. 2-2 the count.
That was a good pitch by Perez because he had Jeter completely off balance. The one thing that Jeter does so well is he usually keeps his hands back a long time. That's why he hits the ball so well to right field. His body may go, but his hands usually stay back pretty well.
Yankees have not had a hit in the series with a runner in scoring position. Frustration building. Molina led off the inning with a double. He's still on base with 2 down. Here's Jose.
They just told Jeter that the pitch was going to be a fastball. Now they may change it, but that was going to be a fastball.
That one deep into the big part of the yard. And handling it is Beltran. Lead off double, then nothing. Church, Alou, Delgado coming up.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
baseball in the Bronx on Reggie Jackson's birthday. What did Reggie turn today, Joe? 39?
Well, he probably thinks so. I'm not going to say, because that would date me as well.
Well, whatever it is, he looks a lot younger than
Yes, he does.
Still stays in superb shape as Ryan Church leads off against that man, Chin Ming Wong. 6th inning, 4-2, the Mets are leading. Deep center. Way back there. Cabrera just watches it go. Reggie Jackson territory. Ryan Church with a big fly, almost into the black seats, the hitter's backdrop in center field. That is a long one. 5-2 Mets.
Well, you're right. The third home run Reggie hit in that game went to dead center field up on the tarp.
The World Series 1977 against Charlie Huff and the Dodgers.
And the knuckleball. Well, this is the fastball. And Church knew it was gone, and so did Cabrera right away.
Moises Alou now, that's a strike.
As the guys would say, that's big man territory there.
In the old configuration before the remodel of Yankee Stadium in the 70s,
he'd still be running.
It was 461 feet to straightaway center. Backhanded by Gonzalez. Got a strong arm. And Alou is now 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Here's that home run again.
A straightaway, almost straightaway center field. Well, it actually goes into the cannon area out there.
Just
to the right.
To the right, but in the stands out there, which is an amazing shot.
I don't think it was quite 461 though.
And they use that center field bleachers now area, that center field bleacher. They painted it black and they use it as the hitter's backdrop, so the hitters can get a better view of the ball. Here is Carlos Delgado, and it appears that he got robbed of a 3-run homer. Difficult really to fault the umpire. The ball left the park on the foul side of the foul pole.
Yeah, I don't think you can fault the umpires. It was a very close play.
Nasty. Took something off that one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, we had the advantage of looking at it on instant replay, so we could see that the ball clearly hit the foul pole.
Mike Riley had the call, and he initially called it fair.
Right.
Although it took him a while. And I was looking right at him as it happened, waiting for him to make the call. So I remember how it took quite some time. And then he said home run, but Jeter was one of the first to get over and argue with him. And the umpires gathered and overturned the call in the upper deck. 2-2 to Carlos Delgado. Delgado 1 for 2 in this game. And Delgado yesterday here at Yankee Stadium had 2 hits and a run batted in. 436 career homers, most in Major League history by anyone born in Puerto Rico. He moved ahead of Juan Gonzalez in that category, who had been the record holder. And foul over toward the Yankee dugout.
And Juan Gonzalez won 2 most valuable player awards with Texas, and injuries forced him out of the game. He was one of the great offensive forces in the game.
Went to spring training this year again.
But he was averaging over an RBI game for a couple of years there. Just a great RBI man and 2-time most valuable player.
Delgado has always been good in these interleague games. And that's going to be back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Delgado. We saw 436 career homers. Actually, looks like it should have been 437. Two and 2 to Delgado. Wong will try it again.
That off-speed pitch that keeps the hitters honest.
And caught by Damon. Well, after that would-be home run, Delgado headed out to the field and had that little visit with Bob Davidson, the plate umpire, who was wearing a mic.
Brian Schneider.
Huh? I
I had it foul, so it was close. I do know that. But the guy right to the left of the pole stood up and got it.
You know, it was great. Maybe some people didn't hear Delgado's question. So how can you see that? That was his question. And that was Davidson's explanation.
A one-hopper by Schneider, and Cano throws him out. He is over. What a run on the booming home run by Ryan Church. Matsui, Giambi, Cano coming up for the Yanks.
Okay, well, we're here. Mets beating the Yankees 5-2. But what now? Hank Steinbrenner's role as the vocal leader of ownership has been the anti-Teddy Roosevelt, speaking loudly and thus far wielding a symbolic stick. Now, Hank slapped the deadline on the Twins and the Johan Santana deal, which effectively ended those trade talks. He has preached patience. Then again this week, he questioned the team's fire. And if they don't start winning, promised changes by force if we have to. Some have read his comments to be shots at the office of Brian Cashman, whose contract expires at the end of the season. Yet thus far, he has not forced Cashman to do anything he hasn't wanted to do. Nor did Hank even attend this week's owners' meetings. Hank Steinbrenner has become one of the great unknowns of the AL East. If the Yankees are 6 out in June, will he order a major deadline deal? If they don't make the playoffs, will he lavish free agents CC Sabathia and Mark Teixeira with hundreds of millions of dollars? Will Cashman stay? And how will Hank deal with Derek Jeter when his contract expires in 2 years? Will he be patient or forceful? And will the family open the new Yankee Stadium, then sell the team for what likely will be well more than $1 million? John?
Well, if it only takes $1 million, Joe and I are going to buy it.
But
I think Peter meant $1 billion.
Yeah, it's interesting because he talked about extending Cashman's contract in the spring, and Cashman said, no, I want to wait till the season's over. And now a lot of things have changed.
Well, that always, of course, leads to lots of speculation about that.
Yeah.
Here's Hideki Matsui against Oliver Perez. We go to the Yankee half of the 6th inning. 5-2, the Mets are leading. Did he swing? Apparently not. 1 ball and no strikes. No appeal asked for even.
Well, the question still remains. I mean, I did not think that the Boston Red Sox needed Johan Santana. I thought the Yankees needed him more than anyone else. And I felt that way, and I still feel that way. But I do understand what Brian Cashman was trying to do. But I've always said this to you and on the air. I've always said you never know what you're going to get from guys that are coming to the minor leagues. A big league player with a track record is always, in my opinion, more valuable than a prospect that you do not know what you're going to get or if he's ever going to make it to the major leagues and play well.
Matsui, that stays fair. And Delgado gets the putout, 1 away. First time Matsui has not made hard contact tonight.
There's a lot of pressure on Hughes and also on Kennedy because, you know, there was speculation that they were going to be part of the trade that could have brought Johan Santana to the Yankees. So there's more pressure put on those young guys, not only just to pitch for the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, but to make up for the fact that they decided they were better than Johan Santana. So it's been a very difficult situation, you know, that I don't know how you correct it.
I mean, how did their names end up out there?
Right. Well, that's a good point.
Hughes and Kennedy and Melky Cabrera and all those guys.
Just put them under tremendous pressure to perform well.
Peter Gammons, we were talking about that earlier in the day.
Well, one of the things that Brian he looked at the Red Sox last year with Pedroia and Lester and Ellsbury and Papelbon, and he said, okay, the Red Sox won by using their young players the way we won with young players in the mid-'90s, and he's trying to change the culture. He's trying to change the way the Yankees do business, and that is effectively what happened. Now, Hank Steinbrenner did put a deadline, which probably killed the talks, but I don't think that the Yankees ever would have traded Hughes and Kennedy in any deal.
And that's their choice, and I don't have a problem with that if that's the way you feel about those young players.
Giambi hit with the breaking ball.
Well, he just took that one.
Took one for the team?
Yeah, he took one to get on base.
Second hit batsman from Oliver Perez.
Well, I mean, it's always difficult because if you're not in the guy who's making the decisions, Brian Cashman has made is trying to re-energize the organization through young blood, bringing new players in. And he figures that Phil Hughes and Ian Kennedy are going to be 2 stars of the future. And if you feel that way, then you make the decision that he made.
But I think Peter makes a good point, and you made a good point.
I thank you, John. Thank you.
I feel strongly about both of you there. But what I'm saying is really, in terms of the point about the pressure placed on these young guys' shoulders, there's enormous pressure playing in New York to begin with, especially for the Yankees, for guys like Hughes and Kennedy to go in that rotation, but also to be the guys that they kept instead of using them to trade for Johan Santana, and that being out in public. There are thousands of trades that never get made with all kinds of names that we never even heard about, but these guys we heard about.
Well, of course, Jabba Chamberlain has pitched well, and he was here last year, so look at they're 0-7 combined, meaning Kennedy and Hughes, but that doesn't factor into my equation here. I mean, they could have been 5-0 or whatever. I would still think that Johan Santana, to me, is one of the best pitchers in the game, and he usually pitches better the second half, which is interesting. I mean, he's pitching well now, but he usually gets better after the All-Star break.
He said years almost unbeatable after the break. Broken back. There's one. Back to first. 2. Cano hits into an inning-ending double play. The bat snapped in half, and most of it ended up in shallow right field. Castillo and then Jose Reyes coming up. Come the Mets into the 7th inning against Chin-Ming Wong. 5-2. The Mets lead the Yankees as Luis Castillo leads off here. He bunts at it and misses. Strike 1. Leadoff man Jose Reyes on deck. There's Castillo, I beg your pardon. He has grounded out to second and walked. A 4-run 4th inning rally for the Mets, plus a solo homer by Church in the 6th inning for their 5th run. The Yankees got a 2-run homer by Matsui in the 4th inning. A ball and a strike to Castillo.
It's interesting, the Mets have played 3 last-place teams in their last series, although the Reds are no longer in last place. But they played the Reds, the Washington Nationals, and the Yankees, who were all in last place.
Foul ball. And they haven't done that well against them either.
No, that's the point.
So they're doing pretty well against the Yankees.
That's why, as we just talked earlier, Willie was on the hot seat because the Nationals won 3 out of 4.
There's Darryl Rasner warming up in the Yankee bullpen. Rasner, who has been moved into the rotation since the injury to Phil Hughes put him on the disabled list. And he's won 2 straight starts and would have started here Friday night against the Mets. That game got rained out. Giambi, long covering, in time. And that would have been an easy hit in the old days for Castillo, but he's got a bad knee and age, and 1 away. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Together, they create a positive place for kids. A lot of kids at Yankee Stadium tonight. See the Yankees and the Mets go head-to-head. The Mets won here yesterday, 6-4, and the 7-4 was the actual final. They broke it open in the 8th inning with a couple of home runs against Kyle Farnsworth. What had been a real tight game up till then. The final was 7-4. The Yankees hit 3 home runs though against Johan Santana.
Yeah, well, he's been giving up a lot of home runs, but guess what? He's still winning ball games, and that's the key.
Reyes, he bluffed that kind of slug bunt and then took it for a strike. Reyes has hit a comebacker. He's doubled to right center, flied out to shallow left center. He's hitting .264 for the year. Now when we come to the ballpark, Joe, and we see his average up there and it says .324.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I think you'll see the Mets showing a lot more wins.
No doubt about that, because he makes things happen. Just the Yankees played pretty well when Johnny Damon got hot. You know, Johnny Damon is kind of a spark plug for the Yankees. And Reyes, you know, and being a switch hitter, I mean, he has everything going for him.
That's a strike on the inside, away from the target of Molina, but over the plate. 2-2. Reyes hitting .333 in the games the Mets have won. When he's been shut down, the Mets have not been winning.
And that shows how valuable he is, John, but sometimes those numbers are not fair.
Giambi will take it himself. That is out number 2.
You know, we've looked at Chien-Ming Wang. We've seen two sides of him tonight. I'm going to show you the first few innings. Now watch where the sinker goes down. And the reason this is important is because when the ball is sinking like that, the hitter can only see the top of the ball. Now when it's up there, you can see the whole ball. And that's why he got hit. If the ball is down around the knees, you can only look down so you see the top of the ball. And so you're hitting something that's actually smaller. When the ball is up, you can see the entire ball, and it gives you a better perspective on making contact. We always talk about getting the ball down, but therein lies the reason, especially for a sinker ball pitcher.
And another ground ball, this one by Marlon Anderson. And Giambi.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
7th inning stretch time at Yankee Stadium. Melky Cabrera coming up. Melky Cabrera leads off for the Yankees, last of the 7th. The Mets have a new left fielder in the game. Defensive replacement. Cabrera bluffing the bunt, taking ball 1 from Oliver Perez.
And even though he's trailing, John, Chien-Ming Wang has done it again. He's taken the Yankees through the 6th inning. This is the 9th time in 10 starts that he's gone past the 6th inning. So he's not winning, but he's done a good job of keeping them in the ball game and giving them an opportunity to come back and giving the bullpen a slight rest.
Well, the bullpen for the Mets is working. They're ready if needed here. Cabrera, Gonzalez, and Molina, 3 right-handed hitters, due up against Oliver Perez. Is ball 2, 2-1. In the Mets bullpen, they've got the right-hander, number 35, Joe Smith, the left-hander, number 25, Pedro Feliciano. That's a strike, 2-2. In left field for the Mets now is Endy Chavez. He replaces Marlon Anderson out there.
And he is a great defensive replacement. He can play the outfield.
Who was it he robbed? Scott Rowland of a home run, and they
jumped over the top of the wall and caught it in Game 7.
Kept the Mets' hopes alive. There's that great arm of Jose Reyes. And Cabrera is now 0 for 3. The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Tuesday night. Before the game at 8 Eastern, catch the 2008 NBA Draft Lottery and see what team gets the right to pick number 1. Then at 8:30 Eastern, the Detroit Pistons take on the Boston Celtics, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. 2008 NBA Draft Lottery and the NBA playoffs on ESPN Tuesday night, your destination for the NBA playoffs. The Pistons by that time, will not have played in a week. The Celtics had a hard-fought battle just today. Strike 1 to Alberto Gonzalez. 1 out, nobody on in the 7th inning. Foul right back beneath us. 0-2 the count. Next Sunday, by the way, we'll be in Chicago. We'll be in the south side of Chicago. They'll be watching. Sunday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, we'll have the White Sox. Ozzie Guillen's White Sox and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That ball is hit into the Death Valley area out there. Not the right place to hit it. Caught by Endy Chavez. It's 399 to left center field. The gap. That's probably close to 25 feet or more versus the standard left center field dimension. And apparently the new Yankee Stadium right next door will have these same dimensions.
Oh, okay.
Of course, that's...
Well, if they're going to have same dimensions, why build a new stadium? You know what I mean? Hey, this one's a great traditional place. If you're going to do the same thing, just, you know.
Well, your objection is noted, Joe, but I think it's a little bit late. Because when I walked in tonight, I saw that it looks like it's coming together beautifully over there.
John, I was in Atlanta this week, and a friend of mine, Bruce, in Atlanta, was telling me Fred Wilpon, the owner of the Mets, is, you know, we all know that he's very good friends with Sandy Koufax. Well, they actually went to high school together.
And Lafayette High School.
Yeah, I didn't know that Fred was a pitcher. I mean, by all accounts, he was as good as Koufax in high school, and he had an injury. I'd have to see that, but I was told that. There you see the Yankee Stadium going up.
I saw Keith Olbermann, a former ESPN colleague, and he was given a tour of the new Yankee Stadium, and he said he was ready to not like it because he's a traditionalist, but he said he was blown away by it.
Well, good.
He said it's an incredible.
Well, why didn't we get a tour?
Well, you were busy. You wanted to watch that Celtics game. 0-2 the count. Next time we'll get one. Although probably not now that you said they shouldn't even have built it. Probably screwed that up for us. There goes our tour. David Wright to lead off the 8th, 5-2 Mets. The big city, New York City. What a beautiful day it was today, Joe, except for that time where it rained a little bit. But
well, I was watching the Celtics game, so I didn't realize it was raining.
Well, I was out in the city, enjoying myself, partaking of all the amazing variety of things there are to do in New York, New York. Chin-Ming Wong against David Wright here. 55,012, the official paid crowd tonight, as Wright goes to the opposite field. Base hit. He's going to head for second. Abreu with a strong arm. Not in time. A double for Wright. His second hit against Wong.
That's why David Wright is such a good player, John, and hitter. We saw him pull one in the hole earlier in the game. Now this batting goes the other way. If you can use the entire field, and they can't bunch up on you, you will find that more balls will fall in. Even though that ball's inside, he hits it down the right field line. So this ball is in. The one he pulled was actually out over the plate more. This one's inside, and he just pushes it down the right field line. If he'd have tried to pull that, he probably would have broken his back.
Willie Mays, one of the all-time great players in baseball history, is Beltran dribbles one out there, and Wong just got it, and Wright takes third. Well, Wright did not immediately break because it seemed to be heading back to the pitcher. He didn't want to make a mistake. Then belatedly he took off and made it easily.
But what happened was that made it easy for Wright was the throw to first base. Giambi could not get ready for it. And you see Wright in the background. He doesn't go. He waits. He waits. Wong doesn't look at him because he has to hurry. You see the throw is in the first foul side of first base. And Giambi has to make sure he catches the ball. And a smart play by Wright. Now I can go. And there was no throw from Giambi.
Now that was really close at first.
Yeah.
Ryan Church, who blasted a Reggie Jackson sort of a home run. I'm going that far, Joe. Yeah. Not many have been hit into those black seats, and his was not technically into him, but almost.
And John, we had the 7th inning stretch where, you know, God Bless America's played, and Ryan Church, his brother Matthew, is in Iraq. He just went back, and he's in special forces, and you ask him if he thinks about it. He said, I think about him every day and his safety. And so Matthew Church is one of the people that are over defending our country for us.
Ryan Church takes first on the intentional walk. Church used to be a pitcher at the University of Nevada. The 14th round draft choice of the Cleveland Indians. But really got to the big leagues finally with the Montreal Expos, who became the Washington Nationals. And it was acquired in a trade. It sent Lastings Village They got both Church and Schneider, their catcher. That trade is shaping up pretty nicely, though, right now for the Mets. And maybe in the years to come, Millage will become a huge star, and we'll look at it differently. But right for the time being, the Mets made out real well in that deal.
Well, because Willie Randolph's on the hot seat, they asked Ryan Church the difference between Manny Acta and Willie Randolph.
Here's Moises Alou. In the dirt, ball one.
And he said they're very similar, John. He said they're not the kind of guys that are in your face for TV so that people can see it. He said, but guess what? Behind closed doors, they will get in your face. I like that. And truthfully, you know, the players are like that. You appreciate that. You know, so he was complimenting both Manny Acta and Willie Randolph that he's played for.
You played for managers who were in your face for TV? I mean, in other words, out in public?
Well, TV wasn't as prominent in those days. They didn't follow every single thing. Sparky wasn't in your face anyway. Sparky would be in your face in his office.
1 ball and no strikes to Moises Alou. Runners at first and third, 1 out. That is just foul past third. This is a spot right now where the Mets could not perhaps put the Yankees away, but all but. They already lead 5-2. Willie Randolph, who's without his bench coach, Jerry Manuel, got ejected from the game back in the 4th inning after the 3-run homer by Carlos Delgado was overturned and ruled a foul ball. As we see Ross Ohlendorf, a right-hander, up in the Yankee bullpen. Chin Ming Wan trying to get that double play ball to get out of this jam. High fly ball. Fairly shallow right. Tagging up at third, David Wright. Here he comes. The throw. Offline, and he scores. Over to second base goes Church.
I'm not so sure he didn't leave early from third base, John. So I'm sure they're going to have an appeal over at third base because he didn't. It appeared to me that he may have left a split second early. Well, since time is called, the pitcher has to get back on the mound, get ready to throw a pitch, whomever comes in. He's calling for a right-hander.
Well, and Girardi, can the new pitcher appeal that play?
Yes.
So we may see an appeal yet.
Yeah, once before the ball is put in play again. And let's take a look. Well, he didn't leave. His upper body left quickly, but I don't think his foot left the bag.
New pitcher coming in for the Yankees. 6-2. The Mets are leading 2 down in the 8th. Carlos Delgado. The new single, It's Now My Time, by the band Three Doors Down, from their album of the same name, which is being dropped on Tuesday. It will drop Tuesday.
Dropping, huh?
It's dropping.
Well, they're dropping Delgado to first base.
And they're not appealing?
They're not appealing. Someone from the dugout may have told them that they didn't leave. He didn't leave too quickly.
Because they can see it back in the clubhouse. Or maybe a video room near the
His upper body left too quickly, but his foot was still on the bag.
But that didn't mean Mike Riley saw it that way. He might have thought that he left too soon.
Are you getting on the guy because he missed the foul ball? I mean,
no, I'm just saying. They still could have appealed it.
Well, this he's not going to miss because he was in perfect position.
Umpire didn't see the replay. Here's Scott Reese with the Sports Center right now.
All right, guys, we start on the hard court where the Celtics knocked off Cleveland 97-92 despite 45 points from LeBron James. So Boston wins the series 4-3, heads on to the Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit. And Ryan Malone scored twice, set up another as Pittsburgh beats Philly 6-0, earns a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. Sports Center after the game. Stay current with ESPN News. Joe, John.
Thanks, Scott. 2 men on and 2 men out, and here is Schneider. Base hit to right field. Ryan Church. The throw by Abreu. Nice. And over to third base goes Delgado. 7-2 Mets. Schneider's first hit and a run batted in.
Second baseman,
That run is also charged to Chin-Ming Wong.
So just a solid line drive. Abreu gets the ball, but his throw is up the line. The throw actually beats him, as you can see, but it was so far up the third baseline that Molina couldn't catch it and reach back and tag him. If it had been closer to the plate, he would have had a shot.
Here's Castillo. Runners at first and third. And a fastball for a strike.
And watch Molina. He will try to make the tag, but you can see Church is going outside. Molina catches it, swipes at him, and clearly misses him.
Too late.
And again, home plate umpire Bob Davison in perfect position to see that.
Here's Luis Castillo. We have some video that would show, I think, Joe, why Mike Riley also would have gotten that call correctly on the tag up.
Yeah. Well,
third base.
Yeah.
As you see the numbers for Ohlendorf. And it's part of the fundamentals that the umpires
but they have
also employ.
They have rotation systems just like players do on relays. They know where they're supposed to go to get the best view of each and every play.
On to the count to Castillo. In the dirt, a check swing, an appeal made. No swing, says Riley. But we had the video that shows where Riley set himself up.
Well, watch, John. What will happen is Riley will try to get in a line so he can see the ball being caught in the outfield and the tag at the same time. That's perfect position. So he can see the ball caught. He can see where Wright's foot was, and that's called getting in perfect position. So he can see both plays at once, the catch and the tag. You get in line with it. If that ball's in center field, he would come further down the third base line.
Slashed foul over at the Mets dugout. 1-2 the count. So they might have appealed it, but Riley saw it. He saw it better than anybody.
But again, his upper body took off, but his foot remained on the bag, so proper play.
Another interesting thing here, Joe, is that Ohlendorf came in from the bullpen, and the first thing he did was walk Delgado intentionally. A lot of managers don't like to have a guy fresh from the bullpen, and the first thing he does is throw 4 pitches out of the strike zone.
It's a mental picture they don't like to give to the guy that comes out of the bullpen. And a lot of managers say, hey, you made this mess. You add to it, not the guy that comes out of the bullpen. But a lot of people are different. You know, the mental image of just throwing 4 balls out of the strike zone sometimes is not the image you want for a guy coming out of the bullpen to have. But again, you know, there's always more than one way, because you can think about, well, he's getting used to the mound. So there are a lot of different things you can think about.
Because I know you played for managers who felt that. They didn't want that to happen.
No, every manager, Frank Robinson, Sparky Anderson, none of those guys, whatever, they would have the guy that was in there walking.
But we also know that Girardi knows quite a bit about pitching. He was an outstanding catcher.
Exactly.
Noted for his handling of a pitching staff.
And again, there's another theory. I mean, if the guy gets used to the mound by throwing 4 pitches.
Runner from first goes. Base hit to left. And that intentional walk has become a run. A run charge to Ohlendorf and not Chin-Ming Wong. Chin-Ming Wong has been charged with 7 runs tonight in 7 2/3 innings.
And that's just good hitting again. Castillo was one of the really fine players and hitters in the game, you know, and he had a lot of injuries. When he's healthy, I mean, he is a really good player.
The 8th batter of the inning is Jose Reyes. He's 1 for 4. 1 the count. Ross Ohlendorf in the game in relief of Chin-Ming Wong, and he walked that first batter intentionally upon entering, and has then given up 2 base hits, each of which knocked in a run since then. 8-2 Mets in the 8th inning. Deep to right center. That one is on its way. Adios! Jose Reyes with his 2nd home run at Yankee Stadium in as many days. And that one turns this one into a drubbing. 11-2 Mets.
shortage of power and run-scoring ability from the Mets in this two-game series.
They've scored 18 runs in these 2 games so far. Andy Chavez. And that's ball 1. They've scored 11 runs tonight on 9 hits.
That down and in fastball to a left-handed hitter oftentimes does not come back to the pitcher. And Jose Reyes rips that one out as he did yesterday off Farnsworth. It was a breaking ball.
Chavez up for the first time. 6 runs have scored here in the 8th inning. They also had a 4-run 4th inning.
Down and in fastball. Every left-hander's dream. You know what I like about that? He ran around the bases. He hit it, and he proceeded to go around the bases.
There's a splitter. Bounce to first. Johnny boots it and just does get the out on the very fast Chavez. 11-2. The Mets are leading.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Oliver Perez back to work to Johnny Damon. He throws him a first pitch strike. Perez, who had not pitched more than 6 innings in a game all year, works into the 8th inning now. He's thrown 103 pitches for the night. And that is a ball to Damon, who was 0 for 3 in the game. Bobby Abreu also 0 for 3 on deck. And then Derek Jeter, due up 3rd in the inning. The Mets with a 6-run inning. 4th time this year that they've had a 6-run inning, which is the most they've had in any inning this year. But tonight they also had a 4-run inning. They have batted completely through the lineup in 2 different innings in this game. And remember, the man who started the game for the Yankees was their ace, Chin-Ming Wong. Pretty impressive night here for the New York Mets. 1-2 the count. And the curveball misses way inside.
I mean, one of the graphics we showed is what the record is with when Jose Reyes is hot and what the record is when he is not hot. As I was saying at the time, I don't think that's accurate because the other guys are supposed to pick up the slack sometimes as well. But he definitely is the catalyst for what they do.
Well, got by Oliver Perez, but Reyes still got the out and the fleet-footed Damon. Peter Gammons. Oliver Perez has been superb tonight.
Well, he has, and it's a very important thing. They got Johnny Maine has been very good for them, obviously Santana. But we talked to bullpen coach Guy Conti, who goes all the way back with Pedro Martinez to his minor league days with the Dodgers. He talked to Pedro today and said he's going to throw 5 innings, 80 pitches tomorrow, and then they just want to have him do some different drills, do some base running, try to make sure that the groin is all right and get his confidence back. But Conti said to me, I'll guarantee you he'll be back before June, and he'd be a huge factor for this team in the second half of the season.
Wow, before June. This is May the 18th.
I mean,
that's
excuse me, before July.
Before July. All right.
That is a little better timetable like what I had. But
they don't want to rush him.
No, and they shouldn't.
Pedro will push himself too hard.
This is Abreu, and he is also 0 for 4. So 2 men are gone.
Well, the one thing about Pedro, he knows how to pitch, John. I mean, even though he's been injured, those are the injuries he's had the last couple of years. But if he's healthy enough to take the mound, he can win because he knows how to pitch. He knows how to change speeds. I mean, he can use his fastball to get to a certain point and then change speeds with that. So if he's back on the mound, he will be a real compliment to this pitching staff.
And what a difference a couple of days make for the New York Mets.
Yeah.
Came to town. Controversy as Oliver Perez departs, and the Mets fans who are still here give him a lusty ovation. Derek Jeter coming up when we return. Yankee Stadium, which is mostly inhabited now by Mets fans. The Mets are leading the Yankees 11-2. Now our Chevrolet player of the game, Oliver Perez. And
well, John, what a night. You're exactly right. He had that one lapse early in the ball game. But look at these pitches. Down. He's getting to chase his breaking ball. Cutter away to Damon. I mean, just beautiful pitching there. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and then he jams Cano for a double play. So, I mean, he was just magnificent tonight. you know, after he had the shaky fourth inning, I mean, he was just dominant. The Yankees only have 3 base hits.
He gave up a hit to Molina, leading off the 5th, and that was the last one. Chevrolet, proud to recognize today's best and tomorrow's future, supporting youth baseball nationwide. There's Joe Smith, side armor, right-hander, in to face Derek Jeter. 7 2/3 innings for Perez. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he hit a couple. Jeter had one of those hits and scored one of the runs against him. He also drove one deep to center in the 5th inning. And there's ball 1. 11-2, the Mets are leading the Yankees. That's despite the would-be 3-run homer by Carlos Delgado, which initially was called a home run and then overturned, but our cameras showed should have been left just as it was initially called, and that what proved to be a 4-run 4th inning would have right at that point been a 6-run inning. But the Mets, it hasn't really mattered to them.
Well, I'm sure the umpires, after they see the replay, will be happy as well that it wasn't a game-deciding play, you know, that was not accurately called.
In other words, where the Yankees are leading right now 5-4.
Right.
But I think that's a real difficult call.
No doubt.
The ball hit the top of the wall and then hit into the stands on the foul side of the pole. And as our gentleman sitting out there who caught the ball showed us that actually that little white spot in the black part of the pole, it looked like the ball actually skimmed off the pole, which also would indicate fair ball. If it touches the pole, it's a fair ball. This is the home run. And you heard Bob Davidson, perhaps, who told Carlos Delgado, yeah, there's that spot. The ball hit in the dark spot on the ball. But he told Carlos Delgado, he says, well, I had it fouled. It went on the foul side of the pole, and a fan on the foul side actually picked it up. And Castillo in the dirt. Jeter is gone.
See how easy it is to pick the ball out of the dirt with that big glove?
Great play by Delgado. Saving the error there for Castillo. Yankee Stadium in its final season, and a game that Yankee fans will not long remember. The Mets are clobbering the Yankees 11-2 as we go to the 9th inning. And Joe, time for our next instant analysis.
Well, John, I'm always talking about shortstops and how difficult it is to play. I've never seen a shortstop that couldn't dance. You have to have light. You have to be light on your feet. You have to have rhythm. And these 2 shortstops tonight have that. Look at Jeter. Smooth. I mean, he's got the smoothness of a shortstop, even though he's a tall shortstop. Look at that's rhythm there. Now, I would look at this is Jose Reyes. He does it differently. See how he catches the ball, brings it to him, and then makes the throw. If I was to describe the 2 in football terminology, I would say Jeter is a fullback that gets it going, and Reyes is a tailback. Jeter does it with power and speed. Reyes does it with speed and quickness. They're a little different type shortstops, but they both, I guarantee they both can dance. You have to be able to play that position. And the other thing about that position, you can't knock it down and pick it up and throw them out. The other infield positions, you can knock it down, throw them out. That's why shortstop is so difficult to play.
David Wright against the new Yankee pitcher, Jose Veras, has come on. Veras, who is 27 years old, from the Dominican Republic. And he is the 3rd Yankee pitcher of the game. Pitched 4 2/3 innings in the big league so far this year. 4 hits allowed, no walks. Not a good inning for Ross Ohlendorf, who went 1/3 of an inning and got charged with 4 runs. And in fact, a 5th run scored after he came in there that was charged to his predecessor, Chin-Ming Wong, one of those inherited runners allowed to score. 11-2, the Mets are leading. David Wright started that 6-run 8th inning rally with a double down the right field line. He's 2 for 4 in the game. Carlos Beltran and Ryan Church scheduled to follow. Ryan Church, who hit a spectacular home run out into Reggie Jackson country, and we mention that especially because not many hit him out there. It wasn't quite into the black seats that Reggie hit so famously in the 1977 World Series, but very, very close. And he did it on Reggie Jackson's birthday. Almost like a little gift card that Church sent to Reggie. Right center field. Abreu. Right near the 385 marker. One away.
John, one more point I want to make about the shortstops. You know, I talk about the rhythm and how they have to be able to dance. When I watch Yunel Escobar of the Braves, it just seems like he's playing shortstop to music. You can see him. I mean, just the rhythm that he has out there. I think it's fabulous. I love watching shortstops play this game because they're all so smooth, and it's just a tough position to play.
Fastball at the knees for a strike. Well, there are so many emerging young shortstops in the National League.
Correct.
At one time, you had Jeter and A-Rod and Nomar, and then Miguel Tejada came along. Seemed like all the best ones were in the American League, and Omar Vizquel would always get overlooked in his own league. Omar now with the Giants in the National League, but you mentioned Yunel Escobar. He's one of them who is really good. But if Jose Reyes has a chance to be better than just about anybody at shortstop, still very young. That's a foul.
We're talking young, so we don't want to act like we're forgetting Jimmy Rawlings, the MVP, but he's not as young as these three who we're showing.
And
here.
Hanley Ramirez may end up being one of the best players in the game, forget shortstop or otherwise, because he's got the range, he's got the arm, he steals bases, and he hits home runs. He does it all. He's sort of in the A-Rod category when A-Rod was still a shortstop. 0-2, Hanley Ramirez of the Florida Marlins. Troy Tulowitzki was certainly outstanding last year as Beltran strikes out. He is now 0 for 4 with a walk in this game.
Well, A-Rod has been playing third base, so people forget that he was a Gold Glove shortstop. I mean, he was a Gold Glove winner at shortstop position before he came to the Yankees.
He was the reigning Gold Glove winner when he moved to third base so he could come to the Yankees. Because they were already pretty well set up at shortstop when he arrived. Ryan Church now. Church, who hit that spectacular home run back in the 6th inning against Wong. Man, a line drive to center. And oh, what a play by Melky Cabrera right near that 408-foot marker, the deepest part of the yard. Melky Cabrera on the run, and they had to leap. He robbed Church. That's good. When you can't be home to watch your favorite MLB team, check out MLB.tv. Watch every out-of-market game this season live online. For more details, visit www.mlb.com, MLB.tv. 11-2, the Mets are clobbering the Yankees as Scott Schoenweiss comes into pitch now for the Mets in the last of the 9th inning. Schoenweiss, the third Mets pitcher of the game, but Oliver Perez went 7 2/3, his longest outing of the year, and looks like he's going to make it 3 straight wins over the Yankees. He beat them twice last year for the Mets. Now Schoenweiss comes in to face Matsui, Giambi, and Cano. At least those are the 3 due up, all left-handed swingers. Now the Yankees have been without their outstanding catcher, Jorge Posada. Posada was hitting .338, or hit .338 last year. One of the amazing performances offensively by a catcher, especially of his age. Usually by his age, catchers are already on the downward slide. Matsui, who homered his first time, fouls one off. Yankees' only runs coming on Matsui's 4th inning home run. But Peter Gammons, what's the latest? Posada's on the DL. They miss him badly.
Well, they do, as you know. He and A-Rod, they miss badly. I mean, this is going to be 7 out of 8. They've lost to left-handers. They have the lowest team OPS in the American League against left-handers. Posada's been throwing. He was up to 90 feet today. He caught a bullpen with Ian Kennedy to try to build up his legs. Joe Girardi thinks it may be a couple of weeks.
As Delgado takes it to the bag, and that's all for Matsui, 1 away.
And when he comes back, what Joe said to me is, what he'll probably do is catch Posada for 2 days, and then either DH him or sit him another day. He doesn't want to have him catch more than 2 days for a couple of weeks, but they're very enthusiastic. They won't really know until he gets into a game and has to throw in a stealing situation, but they're pretty optimistic.
Only Major League player in history with at least a .330 average, 40 doubles, 20 homers, 90 RBIs as the team's primary catcher. Hit .338 last year. And he's going to run. That one he hits Giambi
for the second time in this ball game.
Got a hit in the sixth inning as well.
John, I want to take a moment. Our good buddy Ed Randall is having his Bat for the Cure fourth annual Diamond in the Rough golf tournament tomorrow to be played at the Hudson National Club. It's in trying to get more awareness for prostate cancer, and he has done a fabulous job. There'll be a lot of Hall of Famers there, a lot of local celebrities, a lot of former players are going to be there tomorrow with Ed Randall over to Hudson National Golf Club.
All right. Ed has got a popular Sunday morning baseball radio show here in New York. Robinson Cano, 0 for 2, and he was hit by a pitch back in the fourth inning. By the way, these two teams got rained out on Friday here, and that apparently now is going to be made up as part of one of those two stadium day-night doubleheaders in late June when the two teams are next scheduled to play at Shea Stadium. But one of those days, they'll play one game at Yankee Stadium, and then later they'll play, or vice versa, whichever way it's going to be, in one ballpark in the day and one ballpark the other ballpark at night.
Well, they were doing that last year, and the second game got rained out.
Well, the
second game was here at Yankee Stadium.
I don't remember last year, but it's happened twice.
I think it was last year, because I did the game over there, and then I came here.
Well, you did. That was it was a couple years ago in the playoffs.
Well, I can't remember.
You did.
Well, I knew I was in Yankee Stadium at night, and it rained out.
Okay. So for you, it's no big deal.
No big deal.
You do it all the time.
Yeah, no big deal.
But they're going to actually play each other in the two separate ballparks in the same day. I remember that day.
Yeah, you're right. It was a Dodger
I did
game.
the one game with you, and I got the rest of the day off.
Yeah, it was the Dodgers playing over there.
3-1 the count to Cano. Melky Cabrera on deck. Out into the big Death Valley area, left center field, and Chavez out number 2. Monday Night Baseball tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Chicago Cubs atop the National League Central host the Houston Astros, and the Astros are on the move. Lance Berkman is unbelievably hot. Game available on ESPN in both Chicago and Houston. Wednesday Night Baseball. Rick Sutcliffe returns, our colleague, to help bring you the Mets and the Braves from Atlanta at 7 Eastern. Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Goodyear. Chipper Jones hitting .410. But how about Lance Berkman? I might have the numbers. I might not have them absolutely correct. It's something like 35 hits in his last 62 at-bats. Which I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody being quite that high.
No, and he's hitting with power as well as just getting base hits.
Leads the National League in home runs. Leads the National League in RBIs. And he'll be facing the Cubs tomorrow night on Monday Night Baseball. Lance Berkman is average up to .399. 16 homers, 44 batted in. Leading the majors in home runs.
It's interesting, the Cubs, a couple of weeks ago, they were wondering if they should move Soriano from the leadoff spot. Now he's got 10 home runs.
Well, he's
been hot.
He hit 7 home runs this week. He hit 4 in 2 games. He hit 2 on Friday and 2 more yesterday. Today, I don't know what happened to him today, Joe. He's only 1 for 3. But he's had 21 hits in his last 40 at bats. So really, the 2 of the hottest hitters on the planet this side of Chipper Jones will be facing off tomorrow night on Monday Night Baseball. And the Mets fans, how about this? Mets fans have turned Yankee Stadium into their own. It's Shea Stadium North.
It looks like the Yankee fans have gone home.
They're gone. They already put this one to bed. Right. Back to the pitcher. And the ball game is over. Sean Weiss throws it out. Cabrera is 0 for 4, and the Mets have defeated the New York Yankees 11-2, and they lead this edition of the Subway Series 2-0. They won 2 in a row right here in the Bronx, but now they've still got one more game to play here at the end of next month. Up next on ESPN Sports Center. Stay tuned for that. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now for Joe Morgan and Peter Gammons and our entire Sunday Night Baseball crew, John Miller. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week from Chicago at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Good night from New York.